Princess Elara and the Moonlit Bloom, a tale of bravery and kindness. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the mountains and across the Whispering Seas, there lay a magical kingdom called Luminera. In Luminera, the skies were always painted with the most vibrant shades of blue, and the meadows were covered with flowers that glowed softly in the dark. The kingdom was ruled by a kind and wise queen named Seraphina, who was loved by all her subjects. Queen Seraphina had a daughter named Princess Elara. Elara was a curious and adventurous girl with hair the color of spun gold and eyes that sparkled like the stars. She had a special friend, a little dragon named Zephyr, who was as gentle as a summer breeze and had scales that shimmered in every color of the rainbow. One day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, Princess Elara and Zephyr decided to explore the Enchanted Forest. This forest was known for its ancient trees that whispered secrets of old and the magical creatures that called it home. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they came across a small, sparkling pond. The water was crystal clear, and tiny, luminescent fish darted beneath the surface. Elara knelt by the pond, mesmerized by its beauty, when suddenly, a soft, melodic voice called out to her. "Princess Elara," the voice sang, "I am the spirit of the pond. Your heart is pure, and your spirit is brave. Will you help me with a task that only you can complete?" Elara looked around but saw no one. "Where are you? How can I help?" she asked, her voice filled with curiosity. The water in the pond began to ripple, and a shimmering figure emerged. It was the spirit of the pond, a graceful being made of water and light. There is a magical flower, the Moonlit Bloom, that grows deep within this forest. It holds the power to heal and protect our land. But it has been taken by the mischievous shadow sprites, and now the balance of our world is in danger. Will you retrieve the flower and restore harmony? Without hesitation, Elara nodded. "I will help you, spirit of the pond. Show me the way." Zephyr flapped his wings excitedly. "We'll get that flower back in no time, won't we, Elara?" The spirit of the pond smiled. "Follow the path of glowing mushrooms. They will lead you to the shadow sprite's lair. But beware, for they are tricky and cunning. Use your heart and wisdom to guide you." Elara and Zephyr set off on the path of glowing mushrooms, their light illuminating the way through the darkening forest. As they walked, they encountered various magical creatures, from tiny fairies that flitted around their heads to wise old owls that hooted encouragement from the treetops. After a while, they reached a clearing where the air grew colder and shadows danced eerily. In the center of the clearing stood a grand tree, its bark dark and twisted. At its base, a group of tiny, shadowy figures scurried about. These were the shadow sprites, their eyes glinting mischievously as they guarded the Moonlit Bloom, which glowed softly despite the darkness around it. Elara and Zephyr paused at the edge of the clearing, formulating a plan. They knew they had to be clever to outsmart the shadow sprites and retrieve the precious flower. Elara took a deep breath and whispered to Zephyr, "We need to distract the shadow sprites while I grab the Moonlit Bloom. Do you think you can create a diversion?" Zephyr nodded and took to the air, his scales flashing with vibrant colors. He swooped down, stirring up a whirlwind of leaves and light that caught the attention of the shadow sprites. They looked up, their curiosity piqued by the dazzling display. As the shadow sprites were mesmerized by Zephyr's performance, Elara quietly approached the grand tree. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she remained focused. With careful steps, she reached out and gently plucked the Moonlit Bloom from its resting place. The moment she had the flower in her hands, the air around them shimmered, and the forest seemed to sigh with relief. The shadow sprites, realizing what had happened, let out tiny gasps of surprise. But instead of becoming angry, They suddenly stopped and looked at Elara with newfound respect. "We only took the flower because we felt forgotten and lonely," one of the shadow sprites admitted. "We never meant to harm the forest." Alara's eyes softened. "I understand," she said. "Everyone wants to feel valued and included. Maybe you can help us protect the forest instead." The shadow sprites exchanged glances, their mischievous expressions turning thoughtful. "We would like that," another sprite said. "We can use our powers to guard the Moonlit Bloom and keep the forest safe." With the Moonlit Bloom in hand, Elara and Zephyr made their way back to the pond. The spirit of the pond awaited them, her form glowing with joy. "You have done well, Princess Elara," she said. "You have restored the balance and shown great wisdom and kindness." Elara smiled and handed the flower to the spirit of the pond. "It wasn't just me," she said. "Zephyr and the shadow sprites helped too. Everyone has a role to play." The spirit of the pond nodded, her eyes twinkling. "Indeed, and that is a lesson we must all remember. Together, we are stronger." As Elara and Zephyr returned to the castle, they felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The Kingdom of Luminera continued to thrive, with the forest and its creatures living in harmony. The shadow sprites, now guardians of the Moonlit Bloom, found joy in their new role and were no longer lonely. And so, Princess Elara learned that true bravery is not just about facing danger, but also about understanding and compassion. She realized that everyone, no matter how small or different, has something valuable to contribute. From that day on, Elara and Zephyr had many more adventures, always carrying with them the lessons of unity and kindness. They became symbols of hope and friendship, reminding everyone in Luminera that the greatest magic of all is the power of a kind heart. Moral lessons: bravery and compassion. True bravery involves understanding and compassion, not just facing danger. Unity and cooperation. Working together and valuing everyone's contributions leads to greater strength and harmony. Inclusiveness. Everyone, regardless of their differences, has something valuable to offer. Kindness. A kind heart can create powerful, positive changes in the world. And so, every night as the stars twinkled above Luminera, children would fall asleep dreaming of the adventures of Princess Elara and Zephyr, knowing that with kindness and courage, they too could make the world a better place.